You open your banking app and check a number. That number tells you what you're worth, what you can buy, what you can survive. It feels permanent. It feels like it has always existed, but it hasn't. For nearly the entire span of human existence, that number did not exist at all. And what your ancestors used instead of money will completely change how you think about the one in your pocket right now. For 95% of human history, there was no currency, no coins, no bills, no app. And yet humans still traded, still built wealth, still kept score of who owed what to whom. So what were they actually using? The answer is stranger and more emotional than you've ever been taught. Let's start with the story you were probably told in school. The story goes like this. Before money, humans used something called barter. You had chickens, your neighbor had wheat, so you traded chickens for wheat directly. Money was invented later as a more efficient version of barter, a universal substitute that solved the problem of needing to find someone who wanted exactly what you had. It's a clean story. It's logical. It's taught in nearly every economics textbook in the world. It's also almost certainly false. Anthropologist David Graeber, who spent years researching the actual historical and archaeological record, made a discovery that quietly shook the field of economics. He looked for evidence of a barter economy anywhere in human history, a society that ran primarily on direct goods-for-goods trade before the invention of money. He could not find one. Not one confirmed case anywhere in the archaeological or anthropological record of a society organized around systematic barter as its primary economic system. Economists had been teaching a story that had essentially never happened. So if it wasn't barter, what was it? The answer is debt, specifically social debt, recorded not in ledgers, but in memory, obligation, and relationship. Picture a small hunter-gatherer community 50,000 years ago. There is no currency. There is no marketplace. But there is something far more powerful holding the entire economy together. People remember what they owe each other. If your neighbor shares meat from a successful hunt with you, you don't pay them back immediately. You don't need to. The debt exists in the social fabric itself. Everyone in the group knows who has given, who has received, and roughly how the balance sits. This is not casual. It is tracked with extraordinary precision in the human mind because in a small group where everyone depends on everyone else, keeping accurate social accounts was a matter of survival. Anthropologist Marcel Mauss, writing decades before Graeber, called this the gift economy. In his foundational work studying Polynesian, Melanesian, and indigenous North American societies, Mauss identified something counterintuitive about gifts in pre-monetary cultures. A gift was never truly free. Every gift carried an invisible thread of obligation. The receiver was now bound socially and sometimes spiritually to reciprocate, not necessarily with an identical item, not necessarily right away, but reciprocate they would eventually in a way that maintained the relationship and the giver's status within the group. And this is the part that should stop you. The earliest economy humans ever built was not a system for exchanging objects. It was a system for tracking relationships. The currency wasn't goods. The currency was trust, memory, and reputation. This is why anthropologists studying the Trobriand Islands found something called the Kula Ring, a massive ceremonial trade network spanning dozens of islands in the Pacific, where people would paddle canoes for days, sometimes risking their lives, to exchange specific shell ornaments. Red shell necklaces called sulava and white shell armbands called moali. These items had almost no practical use. You couldn't eat them. You couldn't build with them. Their entire value was symbolic. They represented status, alliance, and obligation. A person's worth in Trobriand society was measured not by how much they accumulated, but by how impressively they could give these items away, and how widely their reputation for generosity traveled across the islands. Your modern brain, looking at this, might call it inefficient. Why trade something with no practical use? But your ancient brain, the one actually running your decisions, understands the Kula Ring perfectly, because status, reputation, and social standing were never a luxury for early early humans? They were survival infrastructure. A person with a strong reputation for generosity had allies in every direction. A person with a poor reputation could find themselves abandoned at the exact moment they needed help most. This is also why early forms of what we now call currency weren't metal coins at all. They were things that could not be easily faked or hoarded in private.